Live now. Okay, yeah, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to Staying Connected, episode 15. I'm just going to quickly check my mic. Actually, I don't know if I muted it. Oh, I did. It's always a good start. So yeah, today we're joined by a former learner, so David. So hi David, thanks for joining us.
Right.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Good, yeah. Busy. Like I was saying just before the call, the Friday bank holiday sort of like threw us a little bit. It's been a bit of an adjustment coming back to work on the Monday morning. So just quickly, I just want to make sure everyone's in there. So I'll be monitoring the chat as well as asking David some questions. I think everyone knows the format by now. On the Monday, we sort of do a little sort of chat with whoever's on, the guest. And then we'll move into some more positive headlines. So I will keep an eye on the chat. So we've already got Charlotte, Lisa is here as well, and Gary's here. So hi guys, hope you're doing well. Hope you've recovered from your long weekend, doing whatever. It seems like it's about 4 degrees or 5 degrees colder, especially in this room, than it was over the weekend. So I'm struggling a little bit. How was your bank holiday, mate?
Good, aye.
Yeah, get out too much or not?
Just PlayStation.
I think that's definitely. I know Daniel and Gary talked about it last week. How they just sort of they've gone down the rabbit hole of gaming now, and it's tough to get out because there's nothing else to do really.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed when I can't do it as well.
I know, that's it, innit? You get there was like 5 or 6 hours in a day, and it's like that's good. This enjoying this. But you get the old like I was saying to you before, you get the old gamer hand where like your hands are just like 2 claws.
Yeah. Well, Streets of Rage is now but button bashing, so hands are hurting now.
Thumbs just like worn down to a nub. It's gone. So we'll just we'll crack straight on, I guess. So this is the sort of guest question number 1 that I asked everyone. So it's who are you and how do we know you at Media Savvy?
I'm David, and I've done level 1 and level 2 with Media Savvy, like Photoshop and video editing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that was
I think I'm currently doing level 2, but because of all this Corona stuff, we've had to obviously cut it short.
Yeah. So that's we'll put a pin in that one, I suppose, for now.
Yeah.
But you were well on the way, right? As far as I remember, you were on the level 2 and you started. Had you started the course? God, I'm testing.
So when I was doing level 1, I was pretty much at a level 2 standard. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd sort of you put a lot of thought into what you wanted to do in terms of like your next tasks and that.
Yeah.
Because you just to explain as well, you've got a little bit of a background in stuff like this as well, right?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, cool. So obviously that is the next question is what sort of things have you made or done as part of the courses?
I do turntablism, DJing, like scratching bass, beat juggling bass. So I'd have to edit the videos and like add video clips into it and stuff.
Yeah.
But like at the minute I'm doing an animated music video, and I've been working on it for a year now. But it's taking so long because I'm learning as I'm going along.
Yeah, I think. I mean, just based off, I did cover a couple of sessions, obviously, on the level 1 at for that course, and some of the questions you were asking were definitely far above the level 1 stuff, because it was like it was like character animation, wasn't it? And like
keyframes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so obviously you've got your keyframes, but what was the one? I can't remember what it's called now. It's like the mouth rigging, where you have the different sort of syllables and you have to draw each one and stuff, and that's like quite high end animation, really. So I mean, you've come in with that base knowledge is always really good to come into the courses with.
I had to like sit and do all the different mouths on Photoshop.
Yeah.
But I like mouth it to myself to figure out what it would look like in a drawing, and
it's crazy though, isn't it?
'Cause
it's stuff you take for granted, like the mouth animation, because you just make a sound and that makes a word, but when you think about drawing it, you have to physically do it, so you have to like get your ooh sounds and your ah, and it's all like.
I had my son come in the room a few times and say, "What are you doing?"
Like making all these, what are you doing in the corner? Ooh ooh, like making loads of weird sounds. Like, I'm just drawing, man. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. So I mean, that was a massive like sort of leap forward even on the level 1, that one. But you've also done just bits and pieces of like static digital artwork as well, haven't you?
Yeah, Photoshop, yeah.
So if I just quickly switch screens, I do have a couple loaded. Here's some that you made earlier. So obviously we got the one, and we've shared a couple of these guys on our Facebook, and I believe a couple of them, they both went out on Twitter. So this was the NHS one that you did, which was the like cut out of the NHS logo with the staff in the background and the sort of thank you note to them. We shared that one. That was on the 3rd of April. But it's a really, really good piece of work. Like,
yes.
And then there's the other one. I've got it in a tab somewhere. I just can't see it. There as well. Yeah. So that was for St. George's Day as well, which again, very, very detailed imagery that you've got there with like the dragon and stuff in. Really like that one. Thought it was really good. So that went out on the. I take it the 23rd of April was St. George's Day. I couldn't say for sure, but I think it was.
That's sure.
So that's obviously that wasn't made as part of the courses, but that's using some of the skills that you've learned there. I take it.
That was just not having anything to do.
Yeah. It's bored.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's how have you found it? Like transitioning into making your own stuff, because you were saying you're learning as you go, and do you reckon you've been it's been a bit easier now that you've had like a set time to come into like say a course and sit down and like actually ask like questions to say like Lisa?
It's better, but even though like I know a lot, it's better to do the course anyway, because there's stuff that I don't know and I thought I had more knowledge on.
Yeah.
But like I've learned a lot of stuff from you about video editing.
Yeah, I mean it's
that speeded things up a lot. Just getting to be able to being able to ring you from the course.
Aye, getting the support call. Yeah, well that's it as well, isn't it? Like that's one thing that I think's really good is to like you speed up your work, don't you? And you learn how to like, all right, well if I press that button, it just does it, and I don't have to drag it round and worry about putting it in the wrong place and stuff. I think
I didn't know how to use Illustrator before when they.
Yeah, that's another one that Lisa's really good with. Ella as well, to be fair. Like programs that I definitely shouldn't be anywhere near because I don't really know what I'm doing in them, but they can give you expert advice on that. My main issue with learning online, like it's great in terms of like watching tutorials and stuff, but sometimes it's really good to have the ability to ask a question and just have it answered like on the day.
Rather than leaving it in the comment section for them to answer like a week later. Yeah,
because like, don't get us wrong, some people on YouTube and like Skillshare, I've tried before. I did the free trial on that before. Really good, like the content's really good, but if you've got a very specific issue with like, say, your version of Premiere or your version of Photoshop, and you can't find a particular button, you're waiting like maybe it's a week, like you say, for them to get back to you, and really all you had to do was click a button or a little shortcut and you were there. Can be really frustrating, like. Quickly check on the chat. Matthew's here as well, so good afternoon, mate. Lisa's just explaining, known keyframes. Aye. Yeah, so I think Matthew must be impressed with you knowing how to do the different keyframes and stuff in session 1. Really good.
I was using I used to use Camtasia a lot.
Yeah, I remember you saying actually. So how have you found the transition? Because are you using Premiere at the minute?
After Effects.
Oh right, so you're still in After Effects, yeah. So obviously Camtasia has got animation aspects to it, hasn't it? But they're not like
it has, they're not nowhere near as good.
Yeah, they're not super in depth. It's like it's basic stuff like on the screen, off the screen sort of thing. How have you found the transition to that then, like using keyframes and like loads of different effects and all that kind of thing?
I think it's a lot more difficult on After Effects. Yeah. When I first switched it on, I just thought. I don't know what I'm doing here.
After Effects is one of those programs where I've found that like you might never use like 40, but you might only use like 10% of the things because you might have a very specific purpose for it. Like if you're doing character animation like you were doing where you're animating the mouths, you're probably going to use 4 or 5 tools maybe, and there's like 100 in there. So like it's all relative. Learn what you want to learn at that, like you've been doing. Learn as you go. So you've got a specific like project in mind. Learn that bit, and then move on. And then you might come back to it, or you might bring it into another project where you can have a full scene, but then like a bit where you've zoomed in on a particular character as they're speaking and stuff, and it'll make your work so much better. The more skills you have, basically. That's what Lisa was saying. She feels exactly the same about After Effects. You just open it up and you just sort of like your eyes go sort of crossed a little bit. And you're like, oh no. It's once you get the hang of it, man, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Quote unquote easy. But yeah, I think I was on about that this morning because that one of the main issues with the animation stuff is finding a free version of like a free alternative. So we are having a little look into that to see if we can find anything. Like you've got the likes of Photopea and Vector for like your image based stuff that are free, but we're looking into like an animation one because it's like a really sought after thing. A lot of people ask us about it, but it's hard to like pinpoint where they should go. But yeah, if you've got any advice on that, because I know you've sort of experimented with a lot of the free stuff as well, haven't you? And looked around at the different solutions. So if you've got any advice on that, that would be great.
I don't think there's anything on that level that you can get for free.
Yeah.
Not that I know of, like.
I'll have to have a proper look. Hope you never know, because the lockdown's brought out a bunch of like companies to be like, right, okay, we need to sort this out. So we'll have a little scour of the internet and see what we can find.
Was it Adobe had loads of offers and stuff for students because of the lockdown, didn't it? Where they could get, like, free software and stuff.
I think so. It was like either free or like a massively discounted one. I know that at some point, I don't know if it's still valid, they extended like the trial for a few months as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's still active. But I'll look into it anyway, and we'll get something on the schedule. It's fine. So obviously, next question down is just, you know, how have you been coping with the current circumstances and the lockdown and stuff?
Just working on my music video animation project and doing Photoshop.
Yeah.
Playing on my turntables, then playing on PlayStation.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
a lot of fun, really.
It's all like, well, that's exactly what I've got written down there. Basically, it's like relaxation, hobbies, and stuff. So that would be your advice: is just find something you like to do and just crack on with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been doing a bit of taekwondo and exercise as well.
Yeah, I think that's massively important. Like that's what I was going to touch on now. Is just going to be. I mean, I think we say it every week. Like, you know, get yourself outside for half an hour, whatever it is. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Eat or work out at home. I still haven't. I keep telling myself I'm going to do some yoga, and then I get up and I'm like, I don't know about that. Like I'm not very flexible.
Good,
oh, you've been doing yoga as well?
Yeah.
No,
I was doing it at the gym in Shields.
Yeah.
For a bit before they shut down.
I might give it a go. Then we'll see. And that I'll like pull a muscle in my back, and I'll not be able to walk for a week probably, but try out once. So obviously you've got, I'd say, quite a good skill set, a good range of skills at the minute. So what sort of things are you looking to get involved with? Obviously, once things start picking back up again, like future project, what are you looking to do?
I'd like to do video games, like character design and environment design, things like that.
So that could that's obviously going to be once the lockdown ends, there'll probably be a massive cry out for things like that, because obviously not a lot's been happening at the minute. What's quite good about them is you can do a lot of it sort of remotely as well. In terms of putting yourself out there with the digital stuff, like you don't necessarily have to be in like a physical premises. Have you done any kind of like narrowing down of what style you want, or are you just thinking like a broad approach to it?
Sort of like Streets of Rage, like a side-scrolling, like 2D sort of thing.
Yeah.
To go at first.
Let me just I'll quickly open up some screenshots of Streets of Rage, just so everyone knows what we're talking about. So it's like a very sort of like vintage look, isn't it? To like it's like a side-scrolling fighter, with like it's not quite a cartoon style, a little bit like Street Fighter as well in that way. A really like distinct look, like a vintage game sort of thing. So yeah, that'd be really cool art style to go for. And obviously each level sort of has its different background, like you were saying. So like you've got your environment design as well. And if you look at them, they're very, very detailed. So obviously you can't see the one I've got now, but there's like a very detailed like street scene with like obviously all the lampposts, and it's a bit like sort of steampunk with like the way the streets are,
like bright colours.
Definitely. And then you've got like the grungy like underground subways and stuff, like tiles missing and graffiti everywhere. So it's a really really distinct style, and that'd be really cool. I think you'll have to keep us posted on that one to see if you get any more ideas with that. Definitely interested. So yeah, that's really cool. Obviously, we've got a link to your website here as well. So it's graphicdesign.com.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and you've got a little bit of a portfolio on there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So did you design the website as well?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh, cool. So you do bits and pieces on web design and all?
No, I just sort of went on the internet and Googled everything.
Yeah, just taught yourself.
It's a simple web design site as well. I can't remember which one it is, but it was like really easy to use.
Is it WordPress or is it not WordPress?
No, that's the hard one.
Right.
That's a complicated one.
Yeah,
I can't remember its name now.
No, but it's really cool just to have like an online presence on there as well.
Oh, it's called Weebly.
Right, Weebly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like super easy. It's like anyone can do it.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So you've got a bunch of like bespoke t-shirt designs on there. Some like customer logos. Are they ones that you've done?
Yeah.
No, that's really cool.
A lot of it's designs that I do for Red Bull.
Right.
But yeah, print on demand where you upload your designs and people can buy them on t-shirts.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that as well.
No, cool. So have you seen like a big sort of influx from that then? Is it
since the lockdown, it's like more people are buying.
Yeah, no, that's really good, mate.
Because all sat in the house on their phones
Aye.
and on their laptops.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, I take it just putting yourself out there, really, isn't it? Which is why you've done like your website and that. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, that's I will put the link to that in the chat, and the reason I'll do it because it'll come up if anyone's watching it back as a replay. So that's the link to David's site in there. If you want to check that out, there's some really cool stuff on there. A little bit of a portfolio as well. So you've got a few logos on this. So is that like companies that you've done them for as well? So you've got your t-shirt one, and then you've got like logos. So you've done a few like for like the Thailand one. And it looks like is that a DJ one in there as well? Yeah,
I've done a kind of few DJ ones.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And is that just mates you've picked up from the industry as well?
Yeah, and random people on Instagram as well.
Aye, so you're using like social media to sort of like market yourself as well.
Yeah.
How are you finding that then?
Mostly, it seems easier to sell like through Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Like if I join a DJ group on Facebook, and then I upload a video of me like performing, like doing some kind of scratching or something.
Yeah.
And post it to that group, and then it leads it back to the page where it's all the products are.
Oh, cool.
And Instagram works well as well.
Yeah, I think Instagram is one of the massive ones, because I know we've got a few guys who like are looking to or already do use social media as like a portfolio. So even if they're not, obviously you've got designs that you want to sell directly and stuff, but it's really good just to get your work out there. Like you can just go on and you can even add like a little swipeable gallery and stuff. Say like different versions of like a logo, for example, or different T-shirts and that. Really good tool.
Yeah.
So I think there's a link on there, isn't there, on your website to your Facebook. Let me just find it.
On my face? No, I don't think there's a link there. No, yes it is,
Yeah, so there's a link to the Facebook page and your Instagram's on there as well, if anyone wants to check that out. So they're just on the top of the page is a Facebook icon and an Instagram icon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like what you've done with the page as well, with the three split as well. Really good.
Yeah.
No, that's good, mate. Yeah, so if anyone wants to check that out, that's what's the @ thing? Just Model Cat graphic design, and the same on Facebook, isn't it? Yeah. Cool.
Model Cat was just a random Xbox 360 name I got ages ago.
What, like the one where it just gives you one?
Yeah. Randomly generated, yeah.
Sometimes they're the best, don't they? Because it just sticks. It's catchy and that'll do.
I wish I hadn't picked that really though, because like, if you type Model Cat in Google, it's just cats with costumes on.
Like
my website will be buried on like pages.
Yeah, but to be fair, SEO wise, search engine optimization, all you need to do is just keep updating your website and keep using your social media and stuff, and it'll boost it up and up. And obviously, what you want is when people search for like graphic design and like the location, that's when you want to be coming up.
I think I've narrowed that down where if someone does type that in, I'll come up in a search for Jarrow and South Tyneside.
Yeah, because
I
the
haven't
way
quite reached Newcastle.
it's just I think the move that Google are making, it's location based now. So obviously the more far reaching you get in terms of services, the more like areas that you've done. I think you mention it on your website and stuff. It's all keywords and that. It's a bit complicated, but we can probably give you a little bit of advice on that, to be fair. Just some stuff to include or something not. But yeah, it's a really good way. Really good way of marketing yourself, like using social media and as well as a website. I think there's a link on there as well to like little bits of music, videos and animation and stuff on there. Yeah, so there's a few screenshots from you. That's the one you did on the course, isn't it?
That's what I'm still doing now. I think
is that the one you're working on? Is it the is it 6ix9ine? Yeah.
XXX Temptation.
Yeah. But it was coming along really good, so I have full faith in it. You have to send it across when it's done so we can get a spotlight on it.
I think I've got up to now. I've made 26 3-second videos.
Wow.
It's getting tedious, like, but I'm coming to the end now.
It is, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing I find the most with animation. Like, you could spend like, say, a full day animating something, you might get like 8 seconds of footage out. It's like,
I've done an animation the other day, and it was just a character lifting his arms up like that.
Yeah.
And it took all day just for that.
Yeah, because you start getting like really nitpicky. I don't know if you're the same, but like you want like a little bit of motion blur so it looks right when they're moving and stuff, and like you think you see their arm moving and you spot a mistake where like a little bit pops out and you're like, oh no, I've got to go back. Like the worst thing to do is export it and then watch it back, and then you watch it back and you spot like 3 errors and you're like, nah, this is going to be a full day to fix this.
I've done an animation of a car driving along, and I put, what's it called, brake discs on the wheels, but I accidentally attached the brake discs to the wheels, so when the wheels spinning, the brake discs was attached to it. Then my girlfriend pointed out and I was like, I've got to go back and change it over.
Because the thing is, you're chuffed with it on you. You're like, I've done that, I smashed it, and then someone goes, but that's wrong, and that's wrong. You're like, shut up, man. It's not going to be negative, is it? Do you know what I mean? Oh, keep your opinions to yourself. Awful. But check that out on that, because you've got some of the videos on there, and there's some really good work on there. So we'll stay posted on the website and the social media, so we can see some more good stuff on there.
Cool.
So you've talked us through some of the work you've done. Is there any artists or like fellow like graphic designers or fellow DJs even that have sort of given you a bit of inspiration, whether they're like local or whether they're like national or international?
There's a cartoon, it's called Wave Twisters, and it's a cartoon made out of scratch music.
Right.
So when the characters talk, it's actually scratching.
Okay.
And I don't know who made the animations there, but the animations are good in there.
Yeah, so you've been looking at that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's in that similar sort of style, isn't it, that you were on about doing like the game design, the character design for? It's like that comic booky sort of style. Really good.
Yeah.
Looks like it's really well made. I'm just looking on the I've got a Wikipedia. So that's an animated film, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the only one of its kind. There's nothing else being made like that. So
it's a 2001 American animated film. Eric Henry and Sid Garon. It is known as the first turntablism-based musical. So it's a mix of live-action, computer graphics, and cell animation. That's really cool.
That must have took a very long time to make that.
Yeah, especially back, I mean, if it was released in 2001 as well, you've got to think like the technology was probably massively limited as well. Yeah. So they've probably had to like slave over it even more, really. Might check that one out.
With the scratches as well, like every scratch technique, they had to match that up with the characters.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's you know yourself. It's all timing, isn't it? You're looking at when the sound's going to when you've got to match the animation to, and that can take hours. I wonder what. I just want to look at the runtime of it just to have a look.
There is clips of it on YouTube.
Well, it's a 46-minute thing as well, so it's not like it's a short either. It's like a feature length. That it's
It's all set out into chapters, eh?
Yeah, but even so, like all the work that must have gone into that, it's crazy. There is chapter 1 on YouTube. Yeah, I'll just play a little clip. Probably not that loud though.
I think I'm trying to think of the best chapter. I think it's called dental surgery or something.
Right.
With a dentist.
So it's just to give the guys an idea. So this is like I say, it's mixed. So there's some live action footage in there. There's bits of typography. There's all sorts of different bits of animation. There'll be some character rigging in here as well, by the looks of it. And that probably means nothing to a lot of people, but once you start looking at animation, you'll appreciate like the good ones from the bad ones. Obviously, you've got things like the Pixar movies and stuff, which are like super high end. Rely on like a lot of computer like generated stuff as well, rather than like drawn and things. Like they're like you spend like 30 years in the industry to get that level. I think though they're a bit tough to crack, them ones. So final question on that one, and it's not really related to your work and stuff, but it's just have you been keeping up to date with any like uplifting news or any kind of like projects that people have been doing during the lockdown that you've sort of thought were really good?
Not really. Just the whole clapping for the NHS stuff. Taking part in that with my girlfriend and stuff.
Yeah,
which is pretty positive. Right?
Trying to
helping people out in the street and stuff. There's a lot of old people who live in my girlfriend's street, so we're just helping out.
Yeah, just that sense of community in it.
Yeah.
I'll try and stick together. Right, cool. So yeah, if you guys have got any questions based on the animations and stuff, or any of this other stuff, so the graphic design, or the website stuff, or the social media, let us know. And I think Anthony's saying the sound might be crackly, so let us know if it is. It might just be your headphones, maybe, Anthony. I don't know. A bit crackly. Right, hang on. I'll try and move the mic a little bit. Shift it back a little bit. It might just be because I'm shouting, to be honest. I have been known to do that. So yeah, we're going to move on to the positive news. So I've just pulled together a few articles that I've seen over the last sort of week or so that I thought were a little bit good to shine a spotlight on. So I've sent you them as well, David. I don't know if you want to have a little click along while I just sort of run through them.
I've got them on my phone. Yeah.
Cool. So I've got the London to be overhauled to boost walking and cycling after the lockdown. So obviously Mayor of London, City Carney's announced a plan to overhaul the streets, encourage more people to walk and cycle when the lockdown is eased, and that's obviously to reduce like the congestion on public transport. And it should also, reduce like traffic and make it a little bit easier for people to move around, hopefully. So it's to provide an alternative to public transport, which will obviously have less capacity because they'll have to maintain the 2 metre rule. So I seen a few sort of worrying pictures circulating social media this morning after people have been encouraged to go back to work. The tube in London, and I think it was a couple of buses as well, where people were like crammed in. So I think this is going to be the new push is going to be to more cycling and walking, hopefully. I think London's going to be like the flagship for it, so they're going to sort of target London to start, and then they're going to look to open it out into more towns and cities as well as it goes on. So to watch this space, you might all suddenly be getting really healthy all of a sudden, like forced to cycle and walk everywhere, if at all possible. Obviously, there's a lot of people who cannot do that, so they will still have to get on public transport and that. But anyone living in big cities, I think that they're on about Birmingham and Brighton, and even York, are designing in a bit of air quality, reduced carbon emissions. Yeah, private vehicles out in urban areas. So yeah, watch this space. You're probably going to see a lot more bikes and a lot more people out and about walking, even if it is to work, in the next week or so, hopefully. On that note as well, I found from the same website there was a little sort of bit on the end, and they've done like a deep dive sort of analysis into carbon emissions and the impact that obviously the lockdowns had, and they're set to fall by 8%. That's according to the International Energy Agency. So obviously there's been a fall in demand for energy due to the coronavirus, which will dwarf the impact of the 2008 financial crisis and result in an annual decline in carbon emissions of almost 8%. They did a global energy review, so that's across the world as well. It's had a major impact on fuels that include coal, oil and gas, that they're going to be the hardest hit, with obviously like renewable energies have had their share increased. Obviously there's been a massive plunge in demand, especially coal, oil and gas, and the only thing that's holding its like sort of stock at the minute in terms of like price and demand is renewable energy. What they're saying is as well that they don't really know what's going to happen long term, but in the shortfall, obviously the emissions are down and the demand's down, so that for the time being in terms of the environment is a good thing. Obviously fewer people on the roads, fewer people driving, there's fewer emissions in the atmosphere. You can't tell what's going to happen long term because there will be a return, especially with people going back to work. Some people will be forced to use the car, like there's no way around it. You know, they might live 20 miles away from where they work. You're not going to be taking the bike there unless you're an absolute mad person. Or I'm definitely not anyway. I'm not cycling to work if it's too far. So a bit further down. So what they're saying is, hopefully, and I mean we've covered it a little bit last week, I don't know if you tuned into that one, but we were saying hopefully this will be like a pathway to getting a bit more of a sort of cleaner energy industry. So it'll be a bit more of an incentive for people because there was a massive crisis before this in terms of the environment, and scientists were really worried. So this might be the kickstart of, okay, well actually we can use renewable fuel, it is possible. Things like wind farms and like hydroelectric dams and things like that. So just related to that one, there was one from specifically Britain. So in terms of using coal and coal power, the Britain's longest run without coal has been recorded since 1882. So every single year we've relied on like coal power generators. None of the nation's power has been supplied from coal generators for almost a month due to good weather and the pandemic. So things like wind farms and solar farms have been absolutely thriving because of the good weather, and obviously the pandemic's caused like a smaller need on them as well. Are they able to contribute to long run? Yeah, power consumption. The bank holiday weekend beginning with commemorations of VE Day on Friday is expected to lead to a further drop. So then those stats aren't in yet, but they reckon there'll have been a drop over the weekend just gone as well. The record previously stood at 18 days and was set last year, but this run is expected to stretch even further. Sky News understands there's no expectation coal will be brought back into the systems this weekend. So at the minute we're not using coal and we don't need to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep that that trend up. Got one a little bit artistically related anyway, linking back to what we were talking about before. So I don't know if you've seen this one, mate, but Banksy.
Yeah, I've seen this one, yeah.
Banksy did himself a new one. It won't load now. It was on, I think it says in the article, but I'm sure it was on display in a hospital as well, wasn't it?
Where is it?
Here we are. Let's scroll down. Page is loading so slow because I think it's going to pop up and be like, do you want notifications? So that's the picture there. If I scroll a bit further down, I think you can see it on his Instagram. So that's really cool, and that's another example. Like, there's been a lot of ones like these, but obviously Banksy's probably the most high-profile like artist in the world at the minute.
People like anything he does, don't they?
Yeah, like he did that painting where it like destroyed itself, didn't he? Where it was in the frame and it shredded itself. Yeah, it was like in a frame and it like shredded half of it, and I think the plan was so that it would be like worthless, and then it ended up selling for like even more than it was gonna because it was like even more unique. So it's a new piece and it's called Game Changer, and he released it on Instagram, but I think let's have a look. I'm sure it ended up Southampton Hospital. It ended up there. So it's a young boy playing with like a action figure of a nurse with a cape on and as a superhero, and I think that's Batman and Spider-Man in the bin. So they're no longer the superheroes. It's the NHS now. So and then there's a video here. I think new Banksy art. Oh, that's loud. Yeah, so it's been on display in a Southampton hospital, which is really cool. Again, just another. It's like you were saying with the Clapham thing. It's not like a fundraising effort or anything. It's just a bit of appreciation for those guys on the front line. So I think it's the Paula Head, the CEO of University Hospital Southampton, the University Hospital Southampton NHS Foundation Trust. They always give them the wordiest like titles, don't they? Yeah. So she was just saying, the fact that Banksy has chosen us to recognise the outstanding contribution everyone in and with the NHS is making unprecedented times is a huge honour. So they were like really buzzing that they'd been chosen for the Banksy to be displayed. I don't know it doesn't say what's going to happen to it after. I assume it's just going to stay there for a little while. But I think it's already got. That was 2 days ago, but it's on like 2.4 million likes on Instagram, so it's doing pretty well. He's never going to struggle for likes and stuff on Instagram, I suppose. Like, so yeah, that was a really cool one, and I'd imagine there's going to be at least one more Banksy before this is all over. But it might be a little bit more critical of someone else. Maybe instead of celebrating the NHS, it might be critical of certain public figures. I imagine he's not. He's not.
Give him his ideas now. Give him his ideas now.
Yeah, well, if you happen to create something that's a little bit critical, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Let's just put it that way. Last one has got absolutely nothing to do with coronavirus. I just seen it and I was just like, I can't believe what I'm actually reading. This one was posted on the 7th, so I saved this one from last week because we didn't have a Staying Connected on Friday. So I'll just read the headline out because why not? So, fugitive caught after blowing his cover with fart. And I seen that on the BBC website and I thought, how can I not use that? Perfect. A wanted man who hid in the bushes in an attempt to evade the police blew his cover when he farted. And then the guy, whoever's wrote this, it doesn't have an author on, but whoever's wrote it, realising officers were on the scent, very good, closing in, the suspect had fled into a woodland. His location remained a mystery until they heard a noise, believed to be the sound of someone breaking wind. And then he was then arrested alongside another suspect found hiding behind a fireplace in a nearby home. So one of them was blowing smoke and one of them was blowing something else. One of the pursuing officers said, "I was almost out of wind running back, but luckily the suspect still had some." Very good.
What a wordplay.
It really is just everyone. It's just a pun in every single line of it. I'm disappointed they didn't say we had to step on the gas to find him. Like, I feel like that would have just been the final bit. But yeah. So if you are hiding from anyone, probably not the best idea to just let off a big fart because not gonna help your case. Thought that was a good one. There's a page on Reddit, and I will share it with you now, that I found on, I think Gary sent us it last week or the week before. And it's just called, why is it not letting us do the windowed view, man? Come on. So that's the link to it there. It's reddit.com/news of the stupid, and it's just a bunch of like random stuff that people all over the world. So the stories in there from America. There seems to be a lot of stories about Trump, who is, like him or not, in the headlines a lot at the minute. There's Takeshi 69's on there for some reason. I haven't read the article, but I've been reading a lot about him. Yeah. He's out of prison, isn't he? I think at the minute. Yeah. He's back out of jail now after he grassed everyone up, I think, or something. He's got a chain worth £1 million. Yeah, he's just a bit of a character, isn't he? So yeah, I imagine he's going to feature quite a bit on News of the Stupid. Well, he shot his own since he's on house arrest. He shot his own music video in his house. Oh, really? He's done a pretty good job of it. Yeah, I imagine. I'll have to check that one out, and that might be one for Daniel to talk about on Friday when he does his video editing course. I've got a few links that I'm not really going to go into in a lot of detail. It's more just like an FYI, as Dan Machiavelli or whatever would say. It's relating to, I don't know if you watched the announcement sort of last night, and they're on about the R number and keeping the R number low.
I think I'm the only one who didn't watch it. Just honestly, everyone else
mate, honestly, like, you didn't miss much. Like, I would just yeah, you're fine.
Something about a chart or something, a rainbow chart.
There's like a chart of numbers and stuff. So this doesn't explain the chart, like the different levels of it. What it does explain is what that R number means. So what is the coronavirus R number, and why is it important, and why is it important to keep it low? And it sort of explains what is the R at its core. I can't speak. At its core, R is pretty simple. It stands for effective reproduction number, and is a way of measuring how the disease spreads through a population. So the example they give is, if the R number is 1, on average, every person infected with it will go on to infect one more person. So the higher it gets, the more infectious it is. So they use the example there. If the R is 2, that would mean that every person with the disease would go on to infect 2 new people. So if you started with 100, that would go on to be 200. That 200 would turn into 400, and so on. This is quite a good little look into it. So it's got like things like the factors it depends on, and why it's important as well. And they've spoke to some medical experts and some strategists and stuff. So I'll pop that link in the chat now if anyone wants to have a look at that, or if anyone's watching back. Matthew's saying it was mostly ZZZZZ, which I assume means it was bored to death. You may both, but it is what it is. Like I say, that's a good article on understanding what that R number means if you're unsure, which, to be honest, I was, because I'd forgot what I'd read about it, but I'd also forgot. There's a lot of information out there at the minute, I think. I don't know about you, David, but I've found there's just a lot out there and it's hard to keep up.
I don't know what I believe. That's how much information it is.
Well, nice little segue into the next bit. So I found that Mythbusting article on the same website, so wired.co.uk. The headline is, "Does alcohol kill the coronavirus? The biggest myths busted." And there's a video on there, a YouTube video. Disease control expert debunks coronavirus myths. So you can watch the video, but there's also quite a good article about. So I'll scroll through and just read some of the sections. It's talking about alcohol gel and whether it kills the virus or not. I think we talked about this one when me and Daniel said loads of vodka companies were having to put out statements because people were saying that you can make hand sanitizer with vodka, but the alcohol has to be more than 60% proof to actually effectively kill it. So loads of the companies had to put out them saying, look, you can buy the vodka and you can drink it all you want, but if you pour it on your hands, you're not safe, basically.
I had a lot of memes on Instagram where we say that Corona, the alcohol drink, kills the coronavirus.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, right, like it's a meme and that, but their stock price dropped, by like 10% or something, just because it had the same name as it. Like, people are losing their minds. But again, like you say, some people can't spot a joke online and it gets out of hand. But like we were saying last week, don't inject bleach, don't drink bleach, don't wash your hands with vodka. Soap and water will do fine. And no injecting yourself with anything unless you have to and it's for a medical reason. Like insulin, maybe. So yeah, 60% alcohol or above. They've got things on there like there was claims made at the start of it, COVID-19 isn't more dangerous than seasonal flu. They explain why it is more dangerous. There's a couple of bits about 5G, but I'm not opening that can of worms today.
Oh, no. It's all on my Facebook.
Oh mate, it's gone. It's gone.
The 5G towers admit COVID-19 signals or something.
Well, apparently I read one the other day and it was saying like the only reason that it's the lockdown's on is because they want to install the 5G without permission because it's gonna like make everyone deformed and stuff. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I used to read them out of interest, but it's hurting my brain too much. Like,
I joked about it on Facebook. I said something like gift gaps killing old people. Is that what you are trying to say?
Yeah, to be fair though, it's stupid because people have been attacking the towers and that. So obviously some people are taking it seriously. So you can never be too careful, can you really? No worries. I'll skip past that because I think there's about 500 different things we could talk about on that. But yeah, it's a really good article. They've got like links to other reports in there and different things like the virus is mutating and getting more deadly, and saying that there's no evidence supporting that. There's a one on disinfectants and bleach injecting in there, taking ibuprofen. So it's a really good sort of cover all like myth busting thing, and there's a video on there as well to watch, so I'll pop that in there as well. It's good to look up, because I think you're right, to be honest with you, mate. Like, there's a lot out there and you don't know what's true and what's not. And there's been a whole load of like accusations made against different governments, and it'll all come out in the wash, but I think at this moment in time it's hard to tell what's true and what's not, so definitely be looking out for different news sources and that. We've got, on that note, I think Anthony sent us did I download it? Please say I downloaded it. I'm gonna quickly do it. Anthony sent us some of his advice that he's been following at home. I don't know if he's in the chat today, but he had sent me a picture that he made earlier. You might, I don't know if you've got the stream open, mate, but I can show you after anyway. It's fine. Now, where did I save it? That's the question. Did I put that one in the chat as well? Yeah. So have you been active on Facebook much then, with all the stuff going on, or have you tried to sort of avoid it?
I've been on it quite a bit, yeah.
I find myself with things like Facebook and that, I'm either on it all the time or I never open the app. And at the minute, I can't bring myself to open the app because there's just the amount of stuff that's on there that I can't be bothered to like engage with. It's just like all
my Facebook is just 5G towers, 5G. That's all it's about.
Or like everyone's a COVID-19 expert now, aren't they? Like just everyone's a doctor, and it's like, well, you can't do that because of this, and it's like, or they're an economist, and it's like, well, if you do that, the economy will collapse. It's like, well, you don't know.
I seen some bloke the other day, and he was like, everyone was queuing outside I think it was outside the fish shop in White Leys.
Oh yeah.
He was saying making the government's got everyone scared, got everyone wearing masks and stuff like that. I was thinking, well, I'm gonna listen to like doctors and stuff over here.
Yeah.
Some random person in the street.
Some bloke recording himself in like on the street just as a selfie, like screaming.
He was all smug, like he knew more than everyone else.
Yeah. Well, that's it, innit? Everyone just wants to be right. That's the problem at the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the image Anthony made. So it's the same as the government advice template, where it's like stay home, but it's sit at home, watch media savvy streams, learn and stay safe. He's just saying there, you should have realigned the stay at home. It's fine, Anthony. Don't worry about it. It was the first try. I'm gonna play a quick. We're gonna have a quick little animation that I actually made today. So, just for everyone who's been watching the streams, there is the survey alarm. I'm gonna post a link to our survey before I forget. Let's have it one more time. There we go. Hopefully no one's deaf, because I feel like this is really loud. So yeah, there's a survey alarm. Get used to hearing that, because that's going to be on pretty much every Staying Connected going forward. If I've deafened anyone, I'm sorry. I think this sounds crackly. I think I've worked out what it is. It's Leon like drilling in the background, and it's vibrating the life away. Let me just unplug me. And I think I'm back.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. So it's probably been crackling a little bit throughout the stream. Sorry for that. It's just sometimes, I think it's a bit dust in the USB port, actually. I think that's what it was. I'm blaming Leon. Give a dog a bad name. So yeah, if you guys can fill the survey in, please, that would be great. I think I've just given everyone in the chat a heart attack there with the survey alarm. Sorry, I'll work on the volume for next time. So yeah, if you could fill that survey in, let us know what you thought. Apologies for the audio issues. It's just the microphone gets like that sometimes. Thanks for calling it out. If you click on that survey, you should be able to fill it in. It should take about 30 seconds to do, and give us some feedback on the stream and anything you'd like to see. If you've got any questions for David as well, drop them in there and I can probably ask him after that. So again, anything relating to his work, or if you're interested in some of the stuff he's doing, or you want some advice on, or some tips on some of the stuff he's learned from, because I assume, mate, you've done a lot of like your scouring of like YouTube and all the different stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got you've got a few channels and stuff that you could recommend.
Yeah.
Cool. So if anyone's interested in any of that kind of stuff, give us a shout and we can get them questions to David. That'd be great. Just to quickly sort of go into our updates, we've got obviously this week's stream. So this morning, I know David, you were there for a little bit where we did the stuff on vector.com. You had a little look at that this morning for the intro to digital imaging one. So there's one more session of that which is next week. So if anyone's created anything as part of those with myself and Ella, if you send that work in to us, we can feature it next Monday at the start of that session. Even if it was something you did on the Photo P ones like Daniel did a couple of weeks before that as well, I'm happy to do that. Even if it's just something you've been working on, really, to be honest, in your own time. Tomorrow we've got the Mel Machiavelli or whatever extravaganza, where she's got a couple of back-to-back streams. So pre-employability and well-being is 10 till 12 tomorrow, and Fit Body Fit Mind is 2 till 4. So if anyone's interested in joining that hasn't, get in touch with us in some way, or Mel directly if you can. Wednesday we've got Health Eating on a Budget, which is 10 till 12, and then we've got I don't know what the recipe is for this week. Mel has sent us it, but I've got my phone on airplane mode, so I don't know what it is. We've got another Staying Connected, which will be me and Daniel talking about our garbage for an hour probably, but you know, we'll be talking about games probably again. There'll probably be a Streets of Rage bit, because I might check it out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll have to, definitely.
So yeah, we've got Staying Connected on 4 till 5 on Wednesday. Then Thursday we've got Virtual Wellbeing, which will be Mel and Daniel probably talking about how to keep yourself healthy in different parts of the body. Daniel's been flexing his muscles and stuff on that, so yeah, I don't know if that's going to make you want to tune in or not, but you never know. Friday, I think Daniel is got video editing number 1, session 1, sorry. So we're branching out into video stuff now, so moving on to that, and we'll be having a look at, it'll be a very basic introduction I'd imagine on Friday, but it's going to be a really good one, that course, if you're looking at doing sort of video edits. So check that one out, and then round off the week with the Staying Connected, 4 till 5 on Friday. And I believe we've got a guest lined up, but because I'm ill prepared, I don't know who the guest is, so I guess it's a surprise. And we'll see who it is on that. But have you got anything else, mate? Are you all tapped out now?
Just check out my website.
Yeah.
If you get the chance, and check out the videos and stuff.
Cool. So yeah, you've got your social media and stuff on there, which I'll put the website and the 2 social media channels in the description of the video for when it goes on YouTube, like after it's a live stream. And then I'll share it with anyone that gets in touch about it as well.
Cheers.
And like I say, guys, if you have any questions for David, or you want to get involved, or would think, that would be a cool idea, so I'm sure he'd be open to have a little chat with you about it. And yeah, just thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate you taking the time to help us out with
never done now like this before.
Right, how was it?
It's okay.
Yeah, not too daunting.
First time, eh? Yeah.
I think the thing with it is
more complicated.
Yeah, it's just we're just having a chat, really. Like it's the sort of stuff we'd probably talk about if we were in a classroom, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep if you keep us posted on your work, we'll make sure it goes up on social media again, because you've already made some good stuff. So we're waiting some more genius work from you.
Thanks.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick this to the screen on with some general advice and stuff that Lisa's pulled together. Like we did at the end of last week's Staying Connected. But I just a massive thank you to David for joining us today, and a quick note from Mel, who's saying what's she saying? I can't see. Oh, the cottage pie and chocolate cake for the Wednesday cooking. So if anyone's looking for a recipe for those, tune in on Wednesday 10 till 12. I will be there as well, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna get at least a slice of chocolate cake. Fingers crossed. So yeah, guys, cheers for joining. Thanks again, mate, and we'll speak soon. Remember to fill the survey in as well. Right, cool. See you later, guys. Take care.
See you later. Right.